All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. Again, back in my office, so if the acoustics are a little hinky, that's why. Um, I don't know why, but I went back and I ran the program that I've been working on. I just ran it again, and when I did, stop the run and run it again for you, it appeared to be okay. And I don't know what the problem was, so I can't tell you what the problem is. But notice if I click on Edit, all right, so I can come in there and I could remove that, for example. All right, I can cancel. All right, and it looked like I could come in here, so I was going to say ID, we'll call it decorations, and we'll just say Halloween decorations. We add a new category, boom, and since it's alphabetized, it's in that order right there. I can come in here, I can edit it, I can change it to inexpensive Halloween decorations, for example. Click update, boom, it's been changed. Don't want that one anymore, click delete. Click delete. Now be real careful about clicking delete because as you notice there, we're not asked. We could have added some kind of a message box or something like that to it, but you see now it looks at least as though it's fully functional. All right. So the last thing that was discussed in the chapter starting on page, I apologize. We'll get there. All right, so the last thing in the chapter that starts on page 518 is how to work with template fields. Template fields provide more control over the appearance of columns in a grid view control than do bound fields. And a common reason for using template fields is to add validation controls. To add a template field, you use the Fields dialog box to create a bound field, and then you click the Convert this field to a template field link. And you get something that looks like what you see on the screen right here. To edit a template, you choose Edit Templates from the Smart tag in the Grid View control. Then you select the template you want to edit in the Smart tag menu, and you edit it by adding text or whatever you need to add. Once you've converted the bound field to a template, you can edit the template to any additional elements you want to include, such as validation controls, again, why it's often used. You can also edit the templates from Design View. To do that, you use the same and my battery. Okay. To do that, you use the same basic techniques that you use to work with the templates for a data list control. The main difference here is that each bound column in a grid view control has its own templates. All right. So the last thing that's discussed in the chapter in the last 2 to 4 pages is how to go in and do this category maintenance applications, but do it using template fields. All right, so we can edit templates. You've got the item template for the individual field, the alternating item template for alternating rows, the edit item template for the current or active item being edited, the header for the header row, and the footer for the footer row. Here is the typical ASPX that you see set up for this. All right, so let's take a look at this last example, this category maintenance with template fields. All right, just this last example. So, previous example that we were looking at in here, we looked at the product list first, and I don't want to save. All right, then we looked at the Chapter 14 category maintenance, and we don't want that one either. So again, I'm going to close the solution, and if it asks, I won't save. So let's do one more open. I don't want to do it like that. Remember, we want to do it like this. we want the category maintenance template. And we're going to double click on here. Hopefully this is going to work. Before I had to bring it up twice before it did work, but I'm going to take a quick look at it. So this is from pages 520 through 523 in our textbook. It's a version of the category maintenance application that uses templates rather than bound fields. And each edit item template now has a required field validator. In addition, the page uses a validation control summary to display any error messages that are generated. So, again, I don't know if this will work or not, but we're going to try it. It should look aesthetically just like the previous example looked. Now, if I come in here and I click Add New Category, notice none of them have been added. So this is what we have here. The fact that these are all required fields. All right, in just a second, we'll look at the associated ASPX code. But again, this version uses template fields in the grid view control, and the edit item template for each editable field includes the required field validator that you see right here. In addition, it says there's a validation control summary used to display the error messages that are generated. The text boxes in the edit item templates for the short name and the long name also include a max length property, so that the user can't enter more characters than are allowed by the data source. All right, we can look at that in just a minute, but again, if we come back here, so notice if I come back and we put in deck again, like decorations, how that goes away. This is a very long, okay, so notice, can't type anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 characters long. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. The long name, quite a bit longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 50 characters. All right. So what is shown in the text here, here is the default ASPX file that is shown in your book on pages 522 and 523. The grid view control uses template fields for the short name and long name columns. These templates include the required field validators to validate the text box input field. The error message property of each of the edit validators provides the error message that's displayed in the validation summary control. The text boxes in the edit item templates for the short and long name include the max length property. They mention on the bottom of page 520, it says, please note that even though a validation group is used for the validators in the grid view control, it isn't necessary to use another validation group for validators outside of the grid view control. Rather, when the user clicks the Add New Category button, the validation for the required field validators that aren't included in the edit group will be done. So again, the edit item templates for the short name and the long name include, those fields include required field validators, and they're assigned to a validation group that was just named edit, probably not the greatest name. But this group is also referenced in the code for the edit button and the validation control. So only the validators in this group are included. The text boxes for the edit item templates for the short and long name fields include the max length property, as we saw, 15 for the short name, 50 for the long name. Any ASPX code that's not shown on 522 and 523 is the same as the code showed in figure 1414, and that code is on pages 513, 514, and 515. that pretty much brings us to the end of the chapter. So in this chapter, we talked about the basic functions provided by the grid view control. Remember, the grid view control in many ways reminds you of a spreadsheet because it's like an HTML table. We talked about the differences between the bound field and a template field. We talked about what a command field was and how it's used. We talked about those before actions that end with ing and those after actions that end with ed. And we described how you can provide for adding rows to a grid view control. So that's it for Chapter 14. When I come back, we will go over Chapter 15 and 16. Chapter 15 and 16. So Chapter 15 is going to discuss the details view and the form view controls, and Chapter 16 will discuss the list view and the data pager controls. So we'll handle those next, and that'll be coming up shortly.